4:47 a.m. The Strait of Hormuz lies like black glass under a moonless sky. No wind stirs the surface. No waves break the horizon. Just the kind of unnatural stillness that makes even the most seasoned sailors glance at their instruments twice. USS Abraham Lincoln, flagship of Carrier Strike Group 9, slices through the water at a steady 18 knots. Her twin nuclear reactors hum with controlled power beneath a flight deck vast enough to swallow 3 football fields whole. From the bridge, the Persian Gulf stretches into infinite darkness. Radar sweeps show only distant commercial traffic 40 miles off to the east. The Combat Air Patrol circling overhead reports clear skies. Routine transit through the world's most contested waterway. Nothing out of the ordinary. On the carrier's bridge, Captain Elena Vasquez stands with hands clasped behind her back, eyes fixed on the endless black ahead. She's commanded the ship for 18 months, navigated her through typhoons off Japan and Pyrenean-fisted waters near Somalia. But the Strait of Hormuz always feels different. Narrow, claustrophobic, a choke point where Iranian fast boats have harassed U.S. Navy vessels for decades. Tonight feels no different. The Air Patrol's F-18s are fueled and armed. The destroyer escorts maintain their screening positions. The cruiser's Aegis radar watches every inch of sky and sea. Standard procedure. Deep in the bowels of the ship, in the sonar shack buried amidships, Petty Officer 3rd Class Jamal Rivera adjusts his noisy signal. The room hums with the low throb of machinery and the constant chatter of ocean ambient noise, snapping shrimp, distant ship traffic, thermal currents, shifting layers of water temperature. Rivera's job is to listen for the anomalies, the things that don't belong. He's been at it for 4 hours straight. Lies locked on the waterfall display where green lines cascade like digital rain. Then he hears it, a faint metallic pulse, barely audible, buried under layers of ocean cacophony. Rhea freezes. He isolates the frequency band, amplifies it. The pulse repeats, slow, rhythmic, not biological, not random. Propeller blades turning at low revolutions per minute. He marks the contact Sierra 1 and logs the bearing 240 degrees relative, depth approximately 400 ft. Diesel-electric signature. Old Soviet tech, but quiet, deadly quiet. He's about to report it up the chain when a second signature emerges. Different blade count, slightly different acoustic profile, bearing 210 degrees. Sierra 2. Rivera's heart rate ticks up. 2 submarines in the same sector. Coincidence in the strait? Unlikely. He keys his comms. Sonar to SIC. Multiple faint contacts subsurface. Request confirmation. In the Combat Information Center, SIC, 2 decks above, Lieutenant Commander Marcus Hale glances at the tactical plot. The room is a cathedral of glowing screens. Officers hunched over consoles, the air thick with the scent of coffee and electronics. Hale's team has been tracking the strike group's transit for hours. Now this sonar, refined classifications, get me depths and speeds. Rivera doesn't respond immediately because on his screen Sierra 3 appears then 4, 5, 6 distinct contacts, all diesel-electric, all Iranian Kilo class by signature match. They're not transiting. They're maneuvering, spreading out in a wide arc beneath the carrier strike group, 2 sliding port side. 2 starboard, the last pair holding a stern boxing the formation. Hale's voice cuts sharper now. Sonar, talk to me. Rivera's reply comes steady but tight. 6 Sierra contacts confirmed, sir. Kilo class, perfect encirclement pattern inside the screen. They're not moving fast, told men. Battery creeper's been here a while. The SIC transforms. Officers crowd the displays. Red icons bloom across the tactical plot like blood cells closing on a wound. The geometry is flawless. Each submarine positioned at optimal heavyweight torpedo range. 8 to 12 nautical miles. Close enough to strike before helicopters or destroyers can fully react. Commander Hale's mind races through the playbook. Submarines don't position like this by accident. This is rehearsal, intelligence. They've been shadowing the Lincoln for days, waiting for the straight transit when escorts are tight in airspace congested. Captain Vasquez arrives in SIC 30 seconds later, her presence commanding instant silence. She's 5'6" in, but carries the weight of 5,000 sailors and 97,000 tons of steel. She studies the plot without expression. Classification confidence 94% across the board. Ma'am Hale replies Iranian Navy Kilo class holding minimal speed, no emissions. Vasquez nods once. She knows the Kilo class intimately. Project 877, exported to Iran in the 1990s. Air-independent propulsion mods make them nearly silent on battery. Armed with V-11 Schickval, supercavitating torpedoes and older 53 to 65 Wakeholmers designed to track massive surface ships like carriers. Lethal in shallow waters like the Strait. Why reveal now? She asked quietly. The answer comes before anyone can speculate. Rivera's voice crackles over the 1MC, torpedo launch signatures, multiple Sierra 1 through 6, all firing. Chaos erupts, controlled and professional, 6 submarines, 6 torpedoes minimum. Sonar tracks the launches. High-frequency cavitation as weapons accelerate from tubes, bearing straight for the carrier. Time to impact 4 minutes. No klaxons yet. Vasquez's voice remains ice calm. Strike group to general quarters. All stations ASWA posture. Captain to escorts. Full sonar active. Helicopters airborne now. Where now? Orders cascade through encrypted links. USS Sprunt, the lead destroyer, powers up her Sequest-53 Sea-Hole sonar, flooding the water with active pings. USS Normandy, the cruiser, astern, begins sonobuoy deployment. Airdrop sensors forming a barrier grid on the flight deck. Deck crews in glowing jerseys swarm 2 MH-60R Seahawks, rotors already spinning. Ordnance teams load Mark 54 lightweight torpedoes, Hellfire missiles, and dipping sonar arrays, but Vasquez knows the math. 6 torpedoes inbound. Decoys and interceptors can handle maybe 4 reliably. The carrier's vulnerable now. Escort screening, but the geometry favors the attackers. She turns to the con, all ahead flank, hard right rudder, steady up 30 degrees course. The Lincoln surges forward, her 4 screws churning white water in the black night. 100,000 tons doesn't turn on a dime, but every knot and degree bought counts. Below the waterline, the ASL Q-25 Nixie towed array deploys, trailing decoys that mimic the carrier's massive acoustic signature. Launchers along the hull spit Nixie pins. Broadband noisemakers exploding in sequence to confuse torpedo seekers. First torpedo adjusts, locks on a decoy. Underwater detonation shakes the sea. 2 miles astern. 1 down, 5 to go. 3 minutes. The Seahawks lift off, racing into the night. Pilot of Seahawk 1, Lieutenant Sarah Clean, spots thermal blooms from the launches. 6 Seahawk 1 airborne vectoring Sierra 4 dipping sonar in 30 distance to nearest sub 6 miles. Klein's crew drops Sunnywise first floating sensors, relaying real-time acoustics. Contact confirmed. Kilo-class diving post-launch cavitation trail fresh. Klein hovers, deploys dipping sonar. The transducer bites water, pinging actively. Return echo. Solid hull 320 fatse. Maneuvering hard. Weapons free. Vasquez transmits. Klein releases the Mark 54. It splashes wire-guided for the first 1000 YD, then autonomous. The subcrew hears a splash, knows the drill, countermeasures away, hard turn to port, blow ballast for emergency depth change. But the Mark 54's processor cuts through the noise, filters decoys, acquires, accelerates to 40 knots. Detonation pressure wave registers across the strike group. Sierra 4 gone. 2 minutes remain on the inbound tracks. SIC pulses with updates. 2 torpedoes veer toward decoys. Textbook. 2 more Arquide saturation attack from flanks. Sprunt fires Raimon 161 anti-torpedo missiles. Slim Hunters streaking subsurface. Collision blooms. Whitewater starboard. 2 more threats neutralized. 90 seconds. The last Seahawk engages Sierra 2. Same pattern. Locate, dip, drop. Another kill. 3 subs down. But 1 torpedo persists down. Iranian 53-65 Wakeholmer sniffing the carrier's massive wake like a shark scenting blood. It ignores decoys, threads the turbulence. Vasquez faces the call. Maintain turn. Risk hull strike or emergency reverse. Expose propulsion. Emergency left rudder back 2-3. Helmsman responds. The Lincoln pivots violently. Screws reversing on 2 shafts creating a maelstrom. Astern. The torpedo enters the chaos. Acoustic confusion peaks. Loses lock for 4 critical seconds. Normandy's final interceptor finds it. Double blast rocks the hull. Plates groan. Lights flick. Damage reports flood in. Minor flooding forward. Contained. All clear. 6 torpedoes neutralized. 0 hits. But the battle rages subsurface. The 3 surviving Iranian subs scatter. Sierra 135. Running silent toward Iranian waters. 200 miles distant. Pate Poseidon maritime patrol plane. Orbiting at Angels 20 drops. Son of Boyfields along escape vectors. Contacts required within minutes. Engines straining, batteries depleting. They're loud now, vulnerable. Vasquez studies the plot. Rules of engagement clear, sub-engagement. Vessels that fired on U.S. forces are hostile. No mercy in open water. Escorts prosecute remaining Sierras. Weapons free. Seahawk 3 and 4 launch from Normandy, splitting targets. Klein vectors to Sierra 1. The launch leader, son of boys painted perfectly. 450 FT, 12 knots, erratic course. Dip, ping. Mark 54 away. Iranian countermeasures bloom. Bubbles, noisemakers, but the torpedo snakes through. Hit amid ship's silent kill. Simultaneously, Esperance's and Bartilos nail Sierra 3 in a seafloor canyon. Terrain masking fails against multistatic sonar. Boom. Boom. Last target Sierra 5. Desperate now, surfacing for battery snorkel. Fatal error. Hellfire from Seahawk 4 punches through the sail, followed by Mark 54 for the hull. End. 11 minutes total. 6 subs. 18 torpedoes launched. Sonar confirms multiples per tube. 6 U.S. kills. Carrier undamaged. Strike group operational. Dawn breaks as flight ops resume. F-18 catapults thunder. Super Hornets streak skyward on scheduled patrols. Deck crews mop, wake foam rearmos and sick. Logs close. Timestamps coordinates. Froes complied. Classified. No press. Vasquez sips coffee on the bridge. Horizon turning blue. Debris fields mark Graves' 100 miles of stern. No survivors. No rescue. Just physics. Steel meets supercavitation. Steel loses. That's naval power. Silent until it isn't. Absolute when tested. The Lincoln owns the strait. Always has. But Vasquez knows it's not over. Iranian commandant Bandar Abbas is recalculating now. Hours later, as the group clears into open Gulf waters, a new contact pings. Surface group, Iranian marked, shadowing at 50 Rouge in the eye. No approach, just watching. Message received. Vasquez orders heightened ASWA patrols rotating 24/7. Seahawks dip hourly. Pates loiter, destroyers ping actively. The Lincoln's air wing surges. E-2 Hawkeyes orbit. F-35 sees prowl. Full readiness. Night falls again. Routine shattered forever. Sonar techs now triplex check every pulse. Pilots scan for low-level drones. Every shadow hides threat. 2 days pass. Intel briefs arrive encrypted. Iran denies. Swan denies. Involvement claims fishing vessels lost. Satellite recon shows empty pens at Bandar Abbas. 6 kilos indeed gone. Social media buzzes with blurry night vision clips from commercial ships. White water columns. Rotor wash. Conspiracy theories explode. U.S. Navy versus Iran. Straight shootout. Ood. Vasquez ignores it. Focus mission. The Lincoln presses east, bound for station in the Arabian Sea, anti-piracy ops, freedom of navigation, presence. Yet in quiet moments, she reflects. That night tested everything. Tech, training, resolve. 6 subs thought numbers beat quality. They learned otherwise. Word spreads internally. Crew morale peaks. No losses. Total victory. Barbershop talk turns legendary. Heard we dusted 6 Persians before breakfast. Vasquez quashes exaggeration but allows pride. Week later, Bandar Abbas stirs. New deployments. Gatier subs mine layers. Proxy drones test air defenses. So, tit for tat escalates subtly. Vasquez adapts. Drills intensify. ASWA barriers. Torpedo evasion. Seahawk rapid response. Strike group tightens formation. The strait becomes classroom. Every transit sharpening edge. Months on another transit. Sonar clear, but crews remember 4:47 a.m. muscle memory. Lay. Protocols etched. Naval warfare's truth. Battles unseen shape history. 6 hulls on seabed whisper it. Lincoln sails on unbreakable. Deeper context. Iran sub 20-plus vessels mix kilo fate. Gatier classes built for asymmetric denial. Straight depth. Favors them 200 FT max. Thermal layers. Galorous counters with Techie 9. Suites advanced sono net. Centric warfare. Linking highlows. Ships planes that night. Showcased at Iranian planning. Masterful intel from me. Spies, drones, satellites. But execution crumbled under pressure. Torpedoes modernized, but seekers outmatched Nixie evolutions. Subs quiet until launches betrayed position. Post-battle analysis classified. Iranian crews green. Tactics dated. U.S. integration flawless. Human-machine synergy. Indiware. Vasquez's log entry. Contacted 6 hostiles engaged per row. Mission continues. Civilian world sleeps unaware, but oceans remember. Lincoln's wake carves path unchallenged. Sun sets on another patrol. High-lows dip. Sonars ping. Vigil eternal power projected not proclaimed. End of watch. New faces take stations. Story lives in whispers, ready for next shadow, yet whispers evolve. Iranian admirals study debris, photos recalibrate, hybrid threats brew, subs with drones, mines sink to GPS jammers. U.S. responds, Virginia-class, fast attacks forward deploy. Unmanned undersea vehicles swarm screens. Tech arms race accelerates. Lincoln leads it. Vasquez promoted shoreside. Her replacement inherits sharpened sword. Years later, declassified excerpts surface. Books written. Videos go viral. The night 6 subs vanished. Truth simpler. Truth simpler. Preparation meets opportunity. Americans prevail. Strait endures. Black glass waits. Lincoln returns. Cycle unbroken. In engine rooms, nukes humid. Flight deck gleams. 5,000 souls ready. That's supremacy. Silent, absolute. These days, tensions beneath the oceans are higher than most people realize, and many events like this never become public. They remain classified, hidden from view. I share reconstructions like this to give a glimpse of what happens beyond the headlines. If you found it interesting, consider subscribing and let me know where you're watching from.